All right, the first thing that you're going to do is slam your clay down and make sure there is no water that can get underneath the ball of clay so it doesn't go flying off. If you're left-handed, the wheel is going to go clockwise, right-handed, counterclockwise. So you want to do everything with your dominant hand. Clay is dry right now. Go ahead and get your hands wet. Or get the clay a little bit wet because you don't want to throw with dry hands or dry clay. And you're going to speed your wheel up, going as fast as you can right now. As you're getting going, you're going to put your elbows into your legs and you're really going to push to create that triangle. It's your power position. And you're going to take your dominant hand. So if I'm left-handed, I'm pushing into my clay with my left hand. If I was right-handed, everything would be going through my right hand. So I'm going to kind of just press that clay together and start to cone it. Coning is when we lift our clay up and then we are going to press it back down, and it's another way that we wedge our clay. Remember, wedging is getting our air bubbles out of our clay as we're going. Keep your thumb at that upward angle so you're not creating a hole in the middle of your pot, and slowly start to push your clay back down again. Your clay is going to get dry as you go, so just get water whenever you feel like your clay is getting dry. You want to cone your clay 3 times. It'll get a little bit wobbly, but then you'll get it back on center again. So just go ahead and bring it up so your hands slowly go up the entire time and then go down the entire time. If I pause in a certain location, I'm going to be cutting my clay off. If I press too hard, I'm going to be squeezing it in half. When I'm going too slow, my clay gets cut in half too fast and I'll be having spirals. Alright, so now we're going to start to center our clay, and since I'm left-handed, my left hand is going to really push in. Now I'm going to push in with my palm of my hand to start to center. So if I'm right-handed, I'm using my right palm. My left hand, I'm going to be using my left palm. So I'm going to keep it nice and steady, kind of use my pinky to pinch off the bottom part, give it a little place to rest, and I'll be pushing in there and holding my arms nice and steady. It's not with force. I'm creating a power triangle to keep my arms from moving. I'm not trying to push my clay. I'm just letting the clay mold into where my hands are. You can see the clay kind of wobbling and dancing around. I'm going to try to get that wobble out, and it might take you longer to do this in the beginning than it does when you are more practiced. But this is the most important part. If we don't center our clay, we will end up with a very wobbly piece. Now we're going to open our clay using just one thumb, nose over your clay so you're making a nice straight line, and you're going to press your thumb down so it gets a nice straight line with your thumb as well. And then you're going to slowly lift out. Any fast movements you make will throw your clay off of center at this point. Stop your wheel, go ahead and get a needle tool, push it all the way down to the bottom, and mark with your finger how much depth is there. You want about 1 inch to have from the bottom of the clay to the wheel head. After you've measured that, you feel good about it, don't need to go any further, then you're going to start to open your clay. So you kind of brace your hands together, one finger in. I use my longest finger, and I'm going to pull straight back towards my belly button. Nice, even, keeping the wall straight right now. You're going to notice some, like if you're creating a belly button in there, whether it's an inner or an outie, you might have to change your finger position. Once your clay gets wider, you want 2 fingers. They're going straight back to you, but now you're starting to kind of hook them around. So you give your fingers a landing spot. So they're starting straight, and then they're kind of curling around to the inside, giving yourself a little place to hook onto. Once you're open as wide as you'd like to be, then it's going to be start to pulling up the walls and also compressing the lip and getting rid of the foot. So the extra clay right there, you just use that finger and take off extra clay. It's just going to save you time later when you're footing. Then you're going to compress the lip. Those are the 2 things you're going to find the most. After you pull the walls, you need to get the extra clay off with your finger and compress the lip. Grab a sponge in your hand. Sponge is going to be nice and wet, sits in the palm of your hand. Thumb is holding it onto it, but it's not actually ever going to touch the clay. Your fingers are the only things that are going to touch the clay. Put your left hand on the outside, right hand on the inside if you're left hand dominant, and you're going to start to pinch and pull up your walls together. And I'm not pressing too hard at all, just nice and easy. When I get to the top of the lip, I'm gonna back off a little bit so I'm not pressing too much, but nice and slow. I don't want that clay to get out of shape. If I was right-handed, everything would be the same, just on the opposite side. So the right hand would be outside and left hand would be inside. But I'm left-handed, so my left hand's outside, right hand's inside. There you go, get the water on your sponge. Start at the bottom again and slowly work your way up. Your pot is getting taller at this point in time. You don't always have to pull from the bottom. If your bottom's getting thinner, you can pull from the middle. You can compress the lip a little bit more. You don't have to start at the bottom and go to the top all the time. Nice and easy movements. Compress the clay. Get the extra off the bottom. And keep going until you feel like it's all about the same. When you feel like it's the same, if you're making a cylinder, you want a nice straight edge, so you can use your hand on the inside of the pot with the rib on the outside and just kind of help it get into the shape you want it to be. Press along those sides, nice and easy, and lift off that pot. Get a nice straight line, extra clay can come off. Just want to be able to be set up straight there. Hand on the inside. You're never doing any movements without your hand on the inside. Press that in. All right, so now we're ready to take our pot off of the wheel now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to foot it. So we're going to grab our footing stick. So we'll go ahead and get the extra water out of the bottom. We don't want to leave that sitting in there. We'll take our footing stick and we are going to just get the extra clay off. So I'm just going to go straight down in and just kind of cut the clay right there on the bottom. And then I'm going to use the angle to scoop some of the clay up. You're going to notice I'll do this a couple of times. If we're lucky, it comes off in the first one. Flip it over, grab that extra clay as it's coming off. There you go. Now to get this cut off of the wheel, what we're going to do is with our cutoff wire, I'm going to get a little water, I'm going to squeeze a tiny puddle there, grab my cutoff wire, drag it through, pressing down to the wheel head, turn my wheel head with my hands, and then do the other side. Two hands, V, twist and lift, and we can get it off of the pot. And now we don't have to do anything to our wheel head. We can just throw our next piece of clay right down and we're good to go.